Hey beauties! Today I am going to do a get ready with me trying new makeup. And I feel like it has been so long since I have done one of these because it's been palette, 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 and before that it was foundation, foundation, foundation. And so it was really kind of refreshing to sit down and do something different. I am going to be going over some Laura Mercier products. I finally purchased the SISLEY bronzer that everybody has been begging me to review. I have a brand new powder from Kogan Dough. I have some HAUS Laboratories. It's laboratories, but whatever. I wanted to be fancy. I am going to be doing an eye look with the Venus Immortalis palette. And I'm also finally trying out the SURRAT Dewdrop Foundation on camera, as well as a few other things. I just have all the things here, but if you want to see how I created this look, just keep watching. I'm starting off with the new SURRAT Dewdrop Foundation, and I'm using the shade number 4. Now, when I first used this, I have used it a couple times. It had a little sticker on here that said, be careful, that it could have, like, you could get everywhere. And I'm glad I was careful because it did kind of like drip down, but now every time I open it, it's fine. This has a little pump right at the bottom. It's a soft, like little squishy button, and that actually worked better than what it does now. I can't with my nails, it's quite hard, so I just take one of my brushes and I push down on it. So that's just something to keep in mind, that if you have nails, if you see how my hand fits or my finger fits over the top of that button, not ideal. But anywho, let's get into how it looks on my skin. All normal primers are listed down below as always. Just a little FYI, I don't have any primers on the perimeter of my face. I have used them before when trying out the foundation, but today I only have primers on the pore area. For whatever reason, I'm enjoying this more today than I have the other days. And it's not like I didn't like it the other days. I just felt like it was kind of, I don't know, a basic, pretty foundation. And today, I really like it. It's funny, I just got off the phone with Kelsey and I was telling her about this foundation. She was asking me what I thought about it. I was like, I like it, but I don't really think it's anything fancy. And then I'm having like this reaction now, which is kind of throwing me off a little bit because I'm thinking this looks really, really nice on my skin. So, I mean, it could be a good skin day. I don't know. I don't know. But yeah, I'm liking the way that this looks. I feel like I have a nice medium coverage. You can still see little things peek through on my skin. I like the dewy, satin dewy kind of look that it has. Yeah, so that's that. I will give you guys my final thoughts at the end after I get the powder and everything on. I don't have a new concealer to my collection, so I'm just going to go in with a newer concealer that I already know that I like, and it is from Urban Decay. This is the Stay Naked. Just kind of want to use something other than the Giorgio Armani Power Fabric, and I really like this one. I think it's going to be a nice balance on the pore area, seeing as I'm using a luminous foundation. Using a more matte finish underneath the eyes can kind of help, especially seeing as I am combo. But I will tell you that the Giorgio Armani does look good with this foundation. I recently had a chemical peel done. Started out really well, and then I used new products and my face freaked out. So I mean, it's back to good terms right now. But I'm thinking, okay, is it the chemical peel that's making this foundation look so great? I don't know. But anywho, in case you're wondering about this sponge, like which one it is the Linda Hallberg Cosmetics sponge, one of my favorites. To set my concealer, I'm going to go in with the BECCA Under Eye Brightening Powder. I've been using this a lot more recently, and I think it's because the temperatures are changing. And I'm going to take that on the Mini Cheek from Sonia G, the Sky Collection. This collection of brushes is the world. Oh, I love it. And as you can see, I start at my pores, and then I work upward. My lips feel dry. I'm like waiting to put on my TATCHA Camellia lip balm. I gotta wait until I put that powder on my face though, otherwise it's all on my lips. I will be going in with the Huda powder to bake before I do my eyes. However, having something lighter underneath instead of setting with the Huda powder and then also baking with it, I like that method better. So that's another good reason to use this powder first. And it blurs out the pores, makes everything smooth. I love this stuff. To set the rest of my face, I'm going to go in with a powder that is brand new from Kogendo, and it is the Sheer Moist powder. And when you look at it, it looks like the Sheer Lucent powder, which I love. I have that, so it's the same type of packaging, but it's a different formula. And I don't know a lot about that formula, so I'm going to go ahead and just read a few things off of the Kogendo website. It reads, imparts a long-lasting velvety brightness to the finish. Oil and sweat control, blurs the appearance of imperfections with a flake powder, T3 premium oil plus 11 hydrating ingredients to keep the skin moist and plump. It is for fair to light tan skin tones, but it is also for all skin types, not tested on animals, formulated without artificial colors, synthetic fragrance, mineral oil derived from petroleum, and paraben free. You are getting one of those nice powder puffs. I never use these for powder, other than sometimes I'll use it to place underneath my eyes, but I love these to pick up any excess oil on my skin before I do my primers. Now I'm going to shake this and get some out. There was a little cover. This is the cover I just pulled off. And okay, this is what it looks like. You do have like that little piece of fabric right there that's going to hold the powder back a little bit. And now I'm going to go in with some brushes that were sent to me. And I am so sorry if I butcher this, but it's ELYSIUM, I think, and there's different names for each of the brushes, so I'm just going to leave that down below. I'm going to start off with this one right here to apply this powder. I just touched it. It feels very silky smooth, very, very nice. It doesn't have like that cooling effect or anything like that, like where it feels wet. That does not happen, which I'm good with that, because the last time I tried a powder that had that wet formula, yeah, it didn't work out for me. But I'm just going to set the rest of my face with this, and yeah, that's really pretty. First impression thoughts, because I have not tried this before. Foundation, yes. Concealer, yes. This powder, no. Before I finish off the rest of my face, I'm going to go in with a brand new palette. This one is from Lime Crime, and it is the Immortalis palette. This is what it looks like right here. Nice, beautiful, cool tone. So I'm going to zoom you guys in, and I'm going to be using a few more brushes from ELYSIUM. Starting off with the shade Cameo, I am going to take this shade directly into the crease. Back and forth windshield wiper motions and circular motions to blend it upward. Same brush in the shade Moth. Again, I'm going to take that into the crease. Back and forth, back and forth. Blending it slightly upward. I don't feel like this shade has quite enough pigmentation to really make a drastic difference in the crease. I can definitely see it when I compare the two different eyes, but it is a lighter shadow, and it's not matte like the last one we used. Different brush, and I'm going to grab the shade Ash. I am going to start by packing this on the outer corner. Slowly going to take it into the crease. It kind of has like that flat kind of shape to it, but it is a blending brush. So I'm going to blend this slightly upward. Using the same brush, I'm going to grab the shade Unseen, and I'm going to tap this on the very outer corner. Slight little wiggling motions to blend it. And small swiping motions as well. I am going to work this just on the outer portion of the eye. This is a very pigmented color, so you've got to be careful. I did wipe off my brush before I even went in to this area. Even though on this part I had placed down the majority of the pigment, like I said, there's so much pigment there that I could accidentally make it a little too dark up here. So I'm taking it, I'm just going to wipe it off again, and then I'm going in and blending out. Original brush, no additional product, and I'm just going to go right around the edges of that. Moving on to the shade Echo, I am applying this first to the center of the lid, again pressing it into place, then tapping over the black. Not all the way, but like halfway over the black. You want to make sure you're getting this shade all the way to the crease, but you do not want to pass it. Switching over to my rougher brush, I'm going to grab the white shade in Marble. I'm going to highlight the brow arch, bring it down to where I'm going to highlight so it connects. But I'm not going to bring this too far over. Same brush, now I'm going to go in with Hail. I am going to apply this to the very inner corner, tapping over the last shade we laid down, just the edge of it. Just so you guys know, I am using all of these shades dry. Going back in with Ash and this pencil brush, I'm going to buff this right along the lower lash line. Eye look is done, and I actually did not go in with Milk Boss Liner for my top inner rim. I still used a Milk liner, but this one is in the shade Biz. It's like a dark midnight blue, navy blue. I don't think you're going to be able to see it on camera, but it has this blue hint to it that you can definitely see, even on the inner rim up top in person. But that is what I went in with, and then just mascara. And I've been loving the what is it called? Hold on, it's right here. It's from Laura Mercier, the Caviar Volume Mascara. I really like that. Now I'm going to move on to finishing up the face. I have been wanting to try this out for a little while. I've been getting a lot of requests from you guys to try this out. It's a really expensive bronzer, and it's from SISLEY. You guys probably have heard about this a million times, but I have not tried it. And even when I got it, I was good. I have not played with it at all. And this is the Photo-Touche whatever Sun Glow Gel bronzer. So it's not a powdery bronzer. This is what the outside packaging looks like. And then open her up. That is it right there. I'm going to use the same brush I used to set my face, and I'm going to dip into the bronzer. All right, we're going to ruin this thing right now. That picked up way more than I anticipated. Make sure we knock that off. I'm not trying to do all that today. Go in lightly and apply. I really like the color of this. In the pan, it looks kind of coppery almost, but on the skin, it's very pretty. It's definitely a warm undertone, but it's not nearly as dark as I had anticipated. Definitely buildable. Definitely buildable. But I really like the color of this. For my blush, I'm going to go in with the Laura Mercier palette. This is called the La Palette Naturelle. They sent this over to me, and I'm going to be using, I think it says Yori. I'm not sure. These are the colors that come in the palette. I think it's really, really beautiful. I could have used this as a bronzer, but obviously I was definitely going to be using that SISLEY. For my blush, I think I'm going to grab this shade right here. And I'm just going to pop this on. Ooh, that's a nice glow to it. This is like an angled, it's like a fatter angled brush. This is really nice. Sonia G Mini Cheek, and I'm going to grab this shade right here to highlight with. These powders are very smooth. I'm going to take a little bit of that on my nose. Now to buff, I'm going to go in with the By Terry Tinted Hyaluronic Hydra Powder in the shade Apricot Light, and I finally purchased the Sculpt 1 from Sonia G, and so this is what I'm going to use to buff it all over. And I'm not going to be picking up a lot of product. To line my lips, I'm going to go in with HAUS Laboratories from Lady Gaga. And this is the shade Rip Liner Demi Matte in Point, I think. But I will be right back. I'm just going to line my lips and then I will fill them in on camera. I lined my lips and then kind of halfway filled them in. So now I'm going to go in with the gloss. This is the HAUS Laboratories LABORATORIES Gloss in the shade Corset. And that completes the look. Now I'm going to go over each of the products and tell you guys what I think about them. I'm going to start off with the foundation. As I mentioned, this is not the first time that I have used it, but I will say that this is the best it has looked on my skin. And even with the powder, everything, it looks really nice. It looks natural. I feel like I have a nice glow to my skin. After I set it, it looked a little bit more on the satin side. My biggest complaint with this is that it's not a full ounce and the shade range is not great. I got the shade number 4 and this only contains 0.64 ounces. I feel like for a fluid foundation, it needs to be an ounce. So I like the way that this looks on my skin, especially today. The other days it was just kind of average and pretty, but just average. Today, I really like it. I'm not sure what happened, but I do like this. All right, now I'm going to talk about the powder that I use. This is stunning. The texture of it, everything is so beautiful. Again, this is called the Sheer Moist powder, and look at it. Like, I want to just, when I touch it, it is very, very, very finely milled. It has a slight radiance to it. It is not sparkly at all, so it's not going to give you like a glitter bomb whenever you go outside or anything like that. But it does have a nice radiance to it. So this is definitely a hit. I think it's beautiful. I think it blurred my pores, imperfections, and everything. Definitely a hit. And you guys already know that I love the By Terry powders. I've reviewed these. I'm obsessed with these. Comparison wise, I don't know because I haven't used this one enough to tell you. All I can tell you is that I am absolutely in love with the By Terry powders, but so far so good with that new Coquendo. It's stunning. I do want to reiterate the fact that they said that this was made for light to light tan. This is a translucent powder, but I think if you go above light tan, it's going to give you a white cast, and you don't want that. All right, what did I use next? Eyes. The Lime Crime Immortalis palette. I love the packaging on this. It is black and gray, but then whenever you kind of shift it, you can kind of see a little bit of gold in that, like the shiny stuff. Anyway, the inside, the colors, beautiful. I think that these are stunning. I love cool tones and I'm ready for, not necessarily right now. I always love cool tones, but fall's coming and I'm definitely going to be wearing more warm tones than cool. But I like mixtures. Like I love mixing warm and cool. Like what is it? The Too Faced Hot Buttered Rum palette. love that kind of look. But the colors in here are beautiful. They all worked out really well. I will say that the lighter shades are not going to work on a deeper complexion, especially this one right here. It's not going to show up. This one, the one that I used second, the shade Moth, this is beautiful. It is not a shimmer or a metallic, but it has a sheen to it. I am definitely going to take this shade and use it all over the eye as like one of those one color smoky eye looks because I think it is stunning. The only reason why I didn't grab for this is because I know that I've been grabbing for this type of shade, even though this one's more of like a plummy dark color and the other ones have been more of like the red tone. I just kind of wanted to leave that out and stick with just a cool toned look, and I really like the way that this came out. I'm actually quite mad that I like this bronzer from SISLEY. I didn't want to spend the money on this because I have so many bronzers that work really well, and if you have a lot of bronzers that work really well, I don't think that this is something so fantastical that you just have to have it. I might have made up a word there, I'm not sure, but it is beautiful. It does look really, really nice on the skin. I like that it's buildable. I like that it can be sheared out. I like the texture of it, everything. So I'm personally glad that I have it, but I don't think that this is something that you need to run out and buy. I'm going to use it though. This is really pretty. All right, next up, the Laura Mercier, what is this called? La Palette Naturelle. I wish I had gotten to this sooner because during the month of September, which I barely missed, I really should have gotten this out sooner. I feel really bad about that. But Laura Mercier donated 100% of net profit of the La Palette Naturelle to the Laura Mercier Ovarian Cancer Fund through the month of September in honor of Ovarian Cancer Awareness Month. So obviously October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and I just feel bad that I missed out on it. But palette wise, I think that this is really pretty. I think this is going to be geared more toward a light to a medium skin tone. I like the shades in here. I like their formula of blushes a lot, and I really like their highlighters, especially Highlight 01. It's like one of my favorite highlights of all time because it's so smooth. It gives you like this lit from within type of glow, and that's how these are. Every single one of them have a very smooth texture and they're just stunning. Look at them. So this isn't going to give you like that blinding highlight. It's going to be softer and more lit from within, but I think that the quality of this is very nice. This is something I would suggest and I definitely will still continue to use. HAUS Laboratories, I actually bought 3 of the kits and have some mixed feelings about the kits, but I wanted to use these on camera because out of everything, these were my favorite. This specific shade in the pencil is in Pointe, and then the shade Corset in the gloss. I feel like this makes a beautiful combo. I have to tell you that the liner is not one of those that are going to stay in place. Like I can put this on, and I really like the color of it. It is a pinky nude, beautiful, but you can wait several minutes and this is still going to smudge. So if you're somebody who wants it to last a little bit longer on the lips and not move around, this one isn't really it, but I do like the color and I like sharpened type of pencils. I'm not really a roll-up type of girl. So I like the color, but I do wish that the formula was just a little bit more long wearing because now I can go and just rub this right off. And yeah, the gloss does not last as well on the lips either. That's one of the reasons why I went ahead and filled in halfway with the liner to give this something to kind of grip onto. I don't think that there's anything special about the gloss in of itself. I think it's pretty, and I also think that I have other things that I like more in my collection. I love Lady Gaga, but I'm just going to have to tell you guys the truth, and the truth is that I'm not over the moon about them. They're just kind of basic, but I do like this lip, so I like the way that it turned out. And now, lastly, for the brushes, I have to start off with the one that I got from Sonia G. After the last set, she sent me the Sky set. I purchased a Sky set. I liked it so much. And then I also purchased this brush whenever I purchased my backup of the Sky set. And I initially didn't want this because I felt like it was going to be too big for my face. I do have a tiny little peanut head, but this works really well for buffing everything out. I don't think I'll be using this for bronzer. I like the smaller one more for that, but this is lovely. And I knew that it was going to be. Her brushes are top notch. So I'm really happy with this. And then the brand, let me see. ELYSIUM. I really hope that I'm not butchering that. If I am, I really do apologize. My thoughts on these. So what I have here are a foundation brush. This one is going to be really nice for putting on foundation. I have not used it. I'm not really a foundation brush kind of girl, but they feel good in your hands. All of the face brushes feel really nice in your hand. This one I can tell is going to be really nice for applying makeup. And then I didn't use this one. This is weird. It has a little nipple on it. You see that tiny little, can you see that tiny little thing at the top? Like this little, I don't know how I feel about that, so I'm gonna have to try that one out. But these two that I did try, the larger one, I'm gonna leave the name right here. I didn't love this for setting my face, and that could change after I wash the brushes, but I feel like it was just a little bit too stiff for applying my powder. I rather something that's a little bit softer. I love the BK Beauty. This is like my go-to powder set brush right now. It is the BK Beauty 102. I love it. Those are synthetic as well as these. I did, however, really enjoy this brush for applying bronzer. A lot of the times, a synthetic brush will not be as dense as you need it to be in order to pick up certain formulas, especially like that gel formula from SISLEY, but this one did it. It blended it out really well. I like this brush. And then this one applied my blush really, really well. So I like those two the most out of the face set. Now for the eyes, okay, am I missing one? No, I think this might be it. This brush is a little itchy scratchy. Not a huge fan of this. Again, I'm gonna wash these and see if it changes, and I will update you guys. Both of these worked out really well. I knew I was missing a brush. All three of these worked out really well. This one was great for the crease. This one, I like the shape of it for really packing on the outer corner and then getting into the crease without it going up too high. So it's a little bit stiffer, and you're going to be able to get that product into the crease. And sometimes you can have an issue where it's a little too fluffy, you get the color up too high. That's not the case with this one, but you can flip it kind of on its side to where it's more horizontal instead of vertical, and you can blend with it. The brush that looks kind of like the MAC 239, I like it, not in love with it. I'm again going to have to wash these. I do think that I have brushes that I like a little bit more than these when it comes to eye brushes that are synthetic, but I do think that these are good at the same time. So I'm not in love yet, but I don't dislike them. After I wash them and continue to use them, I will give you guys my updated thoughts. All right, you guys, that is it. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you're not already, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye, guys.